Hey everyone, this is part one of a multi-part video series where I'm going to be showing you guys how to install and configure an Arma 3 server instance on a Linux machine. Real quick disclaimer, this is not going to be a tutorial covering how to install Linux or how to SSH into your Linux machine. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be using Ubuntu 24.04 for this tutorial. However, you can use any Debian-based Linux system. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make a non-root user that's going to be running the Arma 3 server. So we'll go ahead and type in the following command to add this user. I'm going to call this user Steam. And then let's set the password for the new user using the following command. Okay, awesome. Now we have a non-root user called Steam created. So before we log into this user and get the Arma 3 server application installed, we need to install another program called Steam CMD. Steam CMD is a command line program that you will be using to download the Arma 3 server from Steam, and also you can use this program to download mods from the Steam Workshop. So to install Steam CMD, we first have to add a couple of repositories. So using the following command, we are going to add the multiverse repository, hitting enter to continue. Okay. Next, we are going to be adding an architecture to our package manager, a 32-bit architecture. This is because Steam CMD, for whatever reason, is still built and using 32-bit. So using the following command, excuse me. Okay, we added the 32-bit architecture. Now we want to update our repository list using the following command. And last but not least, we want to install Steam CMD. Go ahead, hit Y, enter, accept this license agreement, agree, wait for it to wrap up here, and boom. Cool. So now we have Steam CMD installed and also a user called Steam. So let's go ahead and log into our Steam user using the following command here. So as you can see, this went from zipper at A3 server to Steam at A3 server. So from here, we would want to launch Steam CMD. However, if you type this in, you'll notice that it doesn't come up because the path user games is not in our path environment variable. So what I like to do from here is, if you're using the bash shell, which if you don't change the default shell when installing Debian or Ubuntu, it's going to be the bash shell. If you want to be able just to type in Steam CMD and have the program start, we need to add /user/games to our path variable. And we can do that by opening up your favorite text editor and modifying the bashrc dot file. So here's the .bashrc dot file. All we need to do is scroll down to the bottom here a file, do a new line, and type in the following: path equals quotes, $path, colon, user/games. Then we will write our changes to this and quit. Then you can type in exit to leave the Steam user, and then we need to go back into the Steam user with the following command, and this will reload our bashrc profile shell. So now, if we just type in Steam cmd, it will load the application for us. And the first time you load it, it's going to want to update. So just give it a second. Okay, I think that is it. So we have SteamZ. So from here, we want to type in a couple of commands inside of the Steam CMD program to get our Arma 3 server going. I will say, in order to install the Arma 3 server, it's recommended to have use the Steam account that Arma 3, the game, is owned under. Some forums online will say, you can use the anonymous login credentials inside of Steam CMD to download the Arma 3 server, but I think it's better to go ahead and use your own Steam CMD account. So, with that being said, the first thing you want to do to download the Arma 3 server is to type in login and then type in your Steam username. And then it's going to ask you for your password. Okay, and then if you have Steam Mobile Guard, you need to go enter also your two-factor authentication. Give me one sec, gonna pull this up. Okay. It's going to grab some user info from your Steam account. And once it's done saying this, then we're good to go. So from here, what we want to do is we want to tell Steam CMD where we want to install the Arma 3 server. Now, I like to put mine, I'm going to quit real quick. I like to put my Arma 3 server install just inside of the home directory. So before we download the Arma 3 server, I'm going to make a directory in the home folder called Arma 3. So now when we list our directories here, we can see Arma 3 here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into Steam CMD. We're going to log back into our account, which from the earlier step, when you first log in, you don't have to type in your password. You just log into the same account and it just loads it in. So after logging back in, we want to type in the following command: force install dir home, /home/steam, or the non-root user that we created if you changed it to something else. However, I'm using Steam. Slash Arma 3. Hit enter. So what this does is anything downloaded after you hit enter on this command, it's going to go into this Arma 3 directory. So once you've done that, we want to type in this following command to download the server: app update 233780 beta creator DLC quotes validate. Okay, I'm going to break this down a little bit. So app update is a built-in command in the Steam CMD. 233780 is the ID of the Arma 3 server. Dash beta is the branch. Creator DLC is going to get the creator DLC specified after this. So we used a quote to grab all of the creator DLC and then validate. This just checks after you run this command. This checks to make sure that everything was downloaded. So what this whole thing is going to do is it's going to download the Arma 3 server and also download all available DLC, the official DLC and creator DLC. So stuff like SOG Prairie Fire and Global Mobilization, all of that. And then we're going to validate it. So once you have all this typed in, go ahead and hit enter. And this might take a while. So I will go ahead and speed the video up so you can see the end result. But yeah, probably give this, depending on your internet connection, probably give it maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It's going to be about 70 some gigs, I believe. All right, so we are done downloading the Arma 3 server application. You can see at the bottom where it says success app 233780 fully installed. And you can see above that where it says verifying update. That came from that validate parameter we inputted at the previous command. So once you see success, you can go ahead and quit the Steam CMD application by typing quit and hitting enter. And you'll be brought back out to your home directory here on the Steam user. Let's go ahead and clear the screen real quick. And let's go ahead and change directories to our Arma 3 directory so we can check out some of the files. So we can do that with a CD Arma 3, and we can do an ls. Boom, you can see all the files that were downloaded using Steam CMD. So this is what a bare bones Arma 3 server install looks like. Now let's go ahead and launch the server to make sure everything is working okay. There are two types of the Arma 3 server. There's this one here, this Arma 3 server, which is 32-bit, and Arma 3 server underscore x64, which is the 64-bit version. I recommend you run this one, but however, there may be a reason for you to need to run the 32-bit version. So to start your server for the first time, all you're going to do is hit /arma3 server x64 and hit enter. And it's going to start spitting some things out on the screen. Just give it a second here, it'll boot up. Okay, there we go. So you can see here, it tells you what DLC has loaded in. So we got the base game, Zeus, Card, Helicopters, Marksman, Apex, Jets, yada, yada, yada. And this is what a typical startup looks like. So connected to Steam servers. Yeah, but so this is generally what you should be seeing. And if you see this, then it's working as it should. So this is going to conclude part one Go ahead and head on over to part two if you want to see how to add some custom server configurations and how to get mods on your server and that sort of thing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.